Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 118 of the Foxy Presidential Initiative Gyan Pravah podcast series. Today's episode is all about energy, insight, and a touch of fun as we explore a field that's reshaping lives and redefining health. That's bariatric innovation. Obesity has emerged as one of the most pressing health concerns globally. And it's not just about weight, but about wellness, mobility, self esteem, and chronic disease prevention. And to help us decode this complex subject, we have someone who's not only brilliant in his field, but also brings passion, clarity, and innovation to every patient journey. I'm thrilled to welcome my friend and colleague, Dr. Rahul Borude. He's a leading bariatric surgeon and metabolic surgeon who has helped countless individuals regain control over their health. But before we begin, I must take a moment to acknowledge the remarkable force behind this initiative, Dr. Sunita Tandulwadkar, our Foxy President 2025. Dr. Sunita is a pioneer in reproductive medicine and gynecological endoscopy, with a legacy of firsts that have paved the way for innovation in women's health. From delivering India's first stem cell baby to mentoring generations of gynecologists, her contribution is monumental. But beyond her clinical excellence, it's her visionary leadership that truly stands out. Through Gyan Pravah, she has given us a platform that is bold, inclusive, and forward thinking, encouraging dialogue that goes beyond the textbook and touches real lives. She constantly reminds us I want to create leaders, not followers. And this platform is a living example of that vision. Madam, we would love to hear your words of encouragement.
Thank you, Rohan. Thank you so much. First of all, your kind words also. Thank you. Dr. Rahul, this podcast series we have started with the intention that we have 30 committee chairperson. These are our future leaders of Foxy. Not all, but few like Rohan, who are outstanding, devoted, lives Foxy as a passion and has a leadership quality to excel. But believe me, 30 people, 30 days. Now we are nearly crossing 120. Initially, I thought this will help them to develop their leadership quality. Not necessarily everyone is so fluent in taking the interviews, having the dialogue with these national or international leaders. And that's what they have to do when they themselves will become leader. But believe me, 119, you said 19, right, Rohan?
18, 18.
18. 118 series, I felt I am evolved as a person. Every day we are meeting and listening to so many people, academic, non-academic, spiritual, philosophical, political, so many background. Nitin Gadkari was with us. You know, when you listen to these people, you understand life is so different, so beautiful, and it needs to be evolved from all the angles. Your outlook changes, your vision become wider, and I don't know how much it helped to my chairperson, but definitely it helped me. What is most important is everyone tries to take out the best, but Rohan, let me tell you, you are our future leader. And I always say, I'm looking forward to your Foxy presidency, what we are going to do. You yourself have proven in last 2 months some unfortunate incidences has happened, and you showed the leadership, Rohan. And that is what is important. Sometimes I feel to prove our leadership, God has put us in that situation. So we prove ourselves. Otherwise आप प्रेसिडेंट बनते हो, आप चेयरपर्सन बनते हो, लोग काम करते हो, जाते हो. So we had little bit absolute turmoil, and we raised above the platform, and that was fantastic. And I think, Rohan, we developed our bond beyond this. Today,
Absolutely.
one of my antenatal patients, she's a dentist having multiple fibroids, submucous myoma of 2 centimeter. I had advised her surgery for a conception, and before we could plan, she conceived naturally. She comes to me for regular follow-up. She said, "Ma'am, I stay in Dadar. I want you to come for delivery, but how can I manage with so much rains? I only know how I reached." The only obstetrician in Mumbai for me was Rohan Palshetkar. I told her, now, you can't come to Pune. You have to go to Rohan, the only person I can trust.
No,
that's
but that is too
that's
kind.
how the life evolves. We develop the bonds not only in our organization but in our professional life too. So it will be wonderful, Rahul. Our background is, our theme is, you both will be in the picture and I'll be joining the viewer link and enjoying your dialogue with Rohan.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your words of encouragement are always really empowering, and you always make us think bigger, lead better, and also always contribute meaningfully. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, ma'am. Now, let me welcome the man of the hour, Dr. Rahul Borude, and dive into an engaging conversation on shaping health inside the world of bariatric innovation. Rahul is a highly respected bariatric surgeon who has helped transform the lives of thousands battling obesity and lifestyle related disorders. With a career rooted in compassion, precision, and evidence based practice, he's not only a skilled surgeon but also a powerful advocate for long term sustainable health. He's trained both in India and abroad and is associated with some of the top healthcare institutions. Dr. Borude is known for combining advanced surgical techniques with a holistic understanding of patient care, focusing not just on the procedure but on the person. What makes Rahul truly stand out is his ability to connect with patients, colleagues, and the larger medical community. He's approachable, deeply committed to his work, and brings a refreshing energy to every room he enters. Whether it's addressing complex cases, debunking myths on social media, or simply guiding a patient through their health journey, he does it with passion, empathy, and a big smile. Rahul, thank you so much for taking out your valuable time and joining us on this podcast. It really means a lot because I know what kind of a busy schedule you have. Thank you once again.
Ah, Thank you for the kind words, Rohan. I'm always happy to help and always happy to spread the word, specifically on a great platform like you guys. You have great visionaries from Dr. Sunita and everyone at the Foxy. And Rohan has always been a great leader during my post-graduation days, and he's doing it outside also. So it's always good to follow his steps, his guiding path, and it's just I'm happy to ride the his coattails. So thanks for having
Rahul,
me.
now you're being too sweet. We were just talking about sometimes how embarrassing it gets to praise each other and actually lead there.
Just
But
returning a
thank you,
favor.
Rahul. I think we've done the embarrassing bit enough for each other. So I'm going to get straight into the first question before we get out of hand. But
Thank you.
thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Enjoy
We
ma'am.
are
your
looking forward.
conversation. And
Yes,
Rohan,
ma'am.
remain the same whole life. You are
Absolutely.
adored because of your humble nature, Raja. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, ma'am. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So, Rahul, obesity, it's genuinely the pandemic of today. I know we've had COVID come in, we've probably had a few other pandemics in the past, but obesity is something that's withstood the stand of time. It still exists. What's the one thing that's most misunderstood about obesity that frustrates you as a doctor?
So this is, I feel, a very commonly asked question, but at the same time, people don't grasp it. Now, we always have misunderstood obesity for eons, for decades, as if an individual is suffering from obesity, the simple math is, oh, this individual eats more, and that's why hence they are obese. It's not a single factorial or it's not a simple disease. Obesity is a complex disease with a multifactorial reasons. We are now in the last, I would say, 2 decades, are understanding the multiple causes of obesity and how it is interlinked in various sort of aspects, physically and our personal lives and socially also. We are now debunking all of these myths and we are addressing each of these etiological factors which are now sort of compounding into obesity. So this is the common sort of problem that we face, right? Because every individual who struggle to maintain a healthy weight, they always have been told that, oh, just eat less, go out, do this. And I wish it was that easy. However, it's
I
not.
know.
And that sort of hill that we have to climb together and sort of unearth and understand why the root cause of obesity is, that is what is I feel rewarding. At the same time, it's frustrating as well, because to understand obesity, it's not a one size fit for all. You have to sort of treat this in a very multidisciplinary and a multi team
It has
effort.
to be precise. Yeah, it needs to be directed towards each patient individually. It can't be one size fits all, as you said.
Correct.
And I feel personally, when someone talks to me about obesity and what their journeys is, I hate this statement, especially, or rather, the statement that frustrates me is, "Na yaar, khate peete khandan ka hai, so it's okay. It's a sign of prosperity." What they don't realize is that it's such a difficult struggle. Someone who struggled with weight myself for 35 years, we always joke about the fact that I paid 35 years to eat. Now I'm paying for the last 2, 3 years not to eat. It literally becomes that kind of a situation.
Correct.
So that's one line that actually ends up frustrating me.
It is,
Rahul,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
No, that's what I just wanted to add. It's set in culturally, right? Because we live in this weird paradox, specifically in India, that at one end we have, I mean, you know this as well, we are facing LBWs, low birth weight, and we are facing malnutrition. But at the other end, now that we're inching towards, specifically in tier 1 and tier 2 cities, we are facing overnutrition. So we are now trying to sort of juggle and trying to fight battles at both ends, which is now not just burdening the doctors, but just burdening the system and burdening the patients as well. So I think that becomes a more frustrating, and I think that is what needs to be addressed as well.
See, Rahul, I've seen you literally develop your career journey over the last 10 years, and it's amazing. I've like even seen a couple of your surgeries as well. What are the latest bariatric innovations that are exciting you?
So
Not what's coming, but what's exciting you?
So my favorite part of this, I mean, as every surgeon, are the toys, and I
Yeah.
would say the application of the toys. But so we are now.
Just to our viewers out there who are non-medicos, when we mean toys, we mean our surgical equipments,
Correct.
nothing else. Please, Rahul.
So, as a surgeon, as surgery evolved, we went from open surgeries, then we went to laparoscopic surgeries, then we went to laparoscopic assisted surgeries, and now robotic surgeries are now getting sort of becoming a norm. So, for as a surgeon, robotic surgery is very, very, very interesting. It gives us an added advantage from a surgical point of view, where we have the 360-degree motion as opposed to the 180 motion in the
Yeah.
laparoscopic space. And from a patient's perspective, the recovery time has now reduced. So what we sort of, our aim of having our patients admitted is to get them out as early as possible. So this has reduced your hospital stay time, reduced the post-operative pain, which is great. For me, that one perspective I'm very excited about. Second, I'm excited about how we as Asians, specifically from the Indian subcontinent, all this while we always look towards the West, towards for our data, for guidance, or any kind of sort of understanding of a new procedure or any of surgical techniques. But however, our Asian subcontinent is doing very well. We are raking numbers. We are doing a lot of research. We are putting up a lot of literature. So a lot of literature is now based on Asian population. And therefore, in specifically in bariatric surgery, we are doing many surgeries. We're innovating new surgeries which are more now Asian based as opposed to Caucasian based. So
Okay.
this is a great space for us, because we've done now innovative surgeries, what we have sort of modeled from the West, but made it more culturally, more sort of physically, more that is more sort of targeted to the Asian population.
Yeah, so basically, again, as you said, you're individualizing as per the culture, as per the demographics, so that it's going to be more effective for them. See,
Correct.
when I introduced you, I think I used the right terms about compassion, empathy. Even during this innovation time, you're thinking mainly about the post-op care and getting the patients on their feet and getting back home as early as possible. So, Rahul, I think that's one thing you should keep throughout your life, and I think that's something what we I don't want to say it, but yes, we have imbibed it genetically. I must say that we have imbibed
Right.
it genetically, and I
Yeah,
think that's one thing we should be grateful. Definitely, there are a lot more things, but even then.
correct.
See,
I
when
agree.
we're talking about also bariatric surgery, one is the physical transformation. That's obvious because when your patients are losing anywhere between, say, 20 to 40 kgs, you're going to see a physical transformation. But what about the mental and emotional changes that you observed in your patients? Do you, because there's a massive myth around this that, see, people who are more obese get their derive their happiness from fat, from food, from what they consume. So when you've taken about that, they're undergoing depression and things like that. I feel it's the opposite. What about you?
So, I mean, the benefits of bariatric surgery metabolically, right, and aesthetically are have always been addressed, right?
Yeah.
From an external perspective, you lose a lot of bunch of inches, you look healthier, and you are complimented, which also sort of helps in your journey. With bariatric surgery, then you are rid of all these metabolic diseases as hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and XYZ. But I feel the most underspoken or something that you cannot quantify is the psychological benefits of the surgery, because they're purely subjective. And as I said, obesity can trigger any of these psychosocial components can trigger obesity. It's like a vicious cycle. An individual, as a specifically now, I do adult obesity, but my sort of forte and my inclination is always to into the adolescent subgroup. I love working with kids, specifically individuals who are struggling to maintain a healthy weight for years and years. I feel like I would like to help them more, because invariably individuals, when they struggle to maintain a healthy weight, there's a lot of social ostracization, there is a lot of sort of psychological minor changes which then compound into in your teenager and their later life. So I feel addressing them at the right time plays a significant role. There are many diseases like I would say depression, anxiety, social body dysmorphia. These are the commonly three source psychological diseases or psychological components pathology that are linked with obesity. And unless you don't address to both of them, I feel you're not going to find any success or for the matter patient satisfaction. What we have done in the past, we tried to address it only from a one focal point of view, like, okay, let's treat the depression part, let's treat the psychological component, this will take care of it itself, and vice versa. I feel no, that is not the way. Holistic treatment, holistic approach is what we need to do. And I would say the overall benefits, not just from the depression perspective or any other younger population, I feel the quality of life is something that is not sort of spoken loudly or not sort of written down in the books as well. I'll give you an example for few individuals. Are, as I said, the average age for individuals opting for bariatric surgery. Now, I've seen the life cycle of bariatric surgeries from 2000, the first time when the surgery is done. The average age was then, I would say, between your 40th decade or 50, your 40s and your 50s, right? More
Yeah.
male dominated. Now, I would say the numbers are now going to the far extreme. There are younger individuals, there are teenagers, specifically teenage women, teenage girls who were getting operated because of early diagnosis of PCOD or PCOS or any other hormonal setbacks. And I've had individuals in the geriatric, so above 60-year-old individuals,
Yeah.
from the perspective of non-dependent life. Because at the age of 60, they don't want to be dependent on a helper or a family member, where
Absolutely.
they don't want to be, for a lack of better word, burdened by the excess weight. So when they opt to do this, or when they want to go down the route of bariatric surgery and lose X amount of weight, is to sort of create dependency and not be dependent. So I feel that quality of life, so doing basic chores of your day shouldn't be a task. So I think the
Absolutely.
quality of life, I feel it gets better exponentially once you do.
Actually, I'm really glad you brought that up because that's actually leading me into my next question. Do you think that the entire mindset has changed where the Indian society has now begun to take obesity as a medical condition and not as an issue of willpower?
Correct. I think that's what happens, right? So obesity was officially recognized as a disease by the WHO in 2016, correct? All this while it was just and excessive, I would say, complications of a particular lifestyle. In India specifically, as you rightly said, we've always heard these phrases like "khate pite ghar ka khana hai," all of this,
Yeah.
and we have then been overtly sensitized to obesity in our family or in our culture, right?
Yeah.
The individual who's slightly chubby, we would just mock and then just walk away, and you would also then accept all of these few things in the lives in our society, which are great. However, now I think things are turning into sort of the bad way, sort of that now that we are now over accepting our the excess amount of weight also, which I feel now there should be some kind of intervention or some kind of policy making that will sort of address it as well. Yes, being healthy is good, but the right kind of healthy is good, not just that that you if you're overweight. I mean, the biggest battle that we face now is with the whole body positivity movement, right? We all
Yeah.
welcome all shapes and sizes. However, there are a few things I would say that certain shape or size, I think there should be limitation or there should be an indication for some intervention, because you're not just putting your harm or you're putting your life into harm or sort of or living substandard lifestyle. I feel then you're just passing down through that to genetically as well, which I think you have to be slightly mindful about, because these traits, I mean, we can talk about epigenetics that sort of gets passed down to generation that we need to avoid.
But I completely understand you from that viewpoint. Because I'll give you an example of just Karishma and I. We're very particular about our daughter, making sure that she's eating a healthy foods and everything. See, at no point are we trying to restrict junk. I wouldn't say not restrict. Of course, we're trying to restrict, but the entire point is like if she's having maybe say pasta for dinner, it's compulsory that she finishes her roti and sabzi before she has her pasta. So there has to be a healthy component to the meal. Along with that, I also have another issue that she barely eats anything, but that's a conversation for another time. But at the same time, I know what you're talking about, because even though we do talk about body positivity, we have to also look at their long-term health as well. Like, being very honest, I think till the age of 34, if I'm not mistaken, I was quite heavy. Uh, Till then, my body could afford to take the abuse.
Correct.
Like, I played 13 sports. Luckily I hadn't had any sports related injuries per se, I would say, except I fractured my leg because my foot got stuck into the ground. But besides that, I think my body could take the abuse because age was on my side. But I think as you grow older, your recovery is slower and all of these things. And I'm sure obesity, through its inflammation, through its simple mechanics itself, is going to make recovery a lot more difficult.
Completely.
um, Sorry, yes.
No, completely agree. Completely agree. So this is the common thing I tell all my patients, specifically now that I've been treating individuals from all decades, that every year, I would say every decade or every 10 years, your body changes. And I think you need to change with that as well. Now, I'm talking
Absolutely.
about your food preferences. I'm talking about your physical activity. Now, me and you, we both love sports. I've been avid football players all my life. Now, at the age of 35, if I want to play a proper 90-minute game, I don't think that my body is going to sustain it, right? So I also have to be smart and play those 15-minute stuff games and, get
Exactly.
sort of mental satiety. So I feel that also implies to other aspects of your life, then in regards of your eating pattern, then in regards of your sleeping pattern, all the other. So I think you have to respect your body and your I would say your mechanism, physiology, and I think that will also be sort of
So I think today we shouldn't, today that statement doesn't hold true that age is just a number. It's a number to be respected.
It is, it is. And I feel that's fair. I would
I
accept.
agree. I think we have to understand. I agree that age is a number when it comes to your own mental health, but I think physically we need to respect that number as
Correct,
it comes and goes.
correct. But I
Yeah.
also don't agree to like just let it ground you or no. No, you should do
No,
everything. But then,
absolutely.
as you rightly pointed out with your daughter as well, moderation is the key. You cannot,
Mod,
yeah, you cannot swing both ways, or you
it's
cannot.
not all or none.
It's all on. It's moderation is the key.
Absolutely. Rahul, now since I was talking about my own football, like not football, but my journey where I broke my leg and things like that. my biggest reason for recovery was my family. Like in the sense that they were highly like careful. They ensured that once I did my recovery, they made sure that I went for my physiotherapy, my I was getting my mobility back. That's why I can still play football today. I can still play my sports today. Otherwise, at one point, the doctor had told me that Rohan, for 2 years, don't think about playing sports. And because of my family's help, I was back in 6 months. Coming to bariatric surgery, does family, spouses, do they all also play a role? Because now I'll give you a simple example. You'll see so many people who come to you for bariatric surgery, but you'll see their partners being with a BMI of 22, 23. It can happen. The thing is, they are still going to be eating their foods, but how much do you think their support, the family support's needed in order to help them through this journey?
So very, very important part of my post-op in this, and this is what I advocate, I'm a big advocate of, that when you're coming in for your follow-ups or when you're coming for any kind of sort of meetings or post-op, it's always beneficial and it's always advised to get your partner, get your parent, or whoever your first close relationship is. Why? Because we have something what we have been termed now is called as obesogenic environment. Now, what is obesogenic environment? Obesity, as I said, is multifactorial. It's not just something genetically, it's not something that is behaviorally. It is the setting, that the background also plays a significant role. Now, when I say your background, I mean I'm talking about who you eat with. Now, an individual, let's say for a given sake, an individual who's eating in front of you with has a poor eating habit, or the individual who's eating in front of you definitely will be influenced by it, no matter how healthy you will, because even if you're eating your salads, even if you're eating your pulses, you're eating a very normal calorie diet food, and if the individual is eating a pizza or a burger, or let's say just a vada pav in front of you, it is very hard to sort of
Resist that, yeah.
so these few things play a significant factor, is that how to sort of make sure that your environment plays a significant role in the recovery period as well. Second factor I would also say is it comes in this the shape and size of love. We Indians, specifically mothers, love to feed our offsprings, love to feed our grandsons. So
Don't
post-operative
forget the in-laws, Rahul.
in-laws, yeah, I mean, there you go. I mean, just entering that. So it is, I mean, food is love and love is food, right? In an Indian
Yeah.
culture. So when you have an individual for years and eons, they have loved food and they loved eating copious amount of it, right? Suddenly, post-operatively, when they're eating less and they're sort of not eating the usual amount, the mother or this, it just, there is a lot of sort of social and emotional connection to it, which then sort of becomes burdening to the patient as well, because then I see that I have seen mothers feed, or wives or husbands feed their spouses, or children feed their parents when they're eating less. Like, eat, you used to eat more, you used to eat more. So this plays a significant role, that educating and the parent, the first based relationship, whoever comes for counseling, that is also a significant role. And I've seen the positives also of it. When an individual in the post-op, when they're losing weight, they go on a diet, they're particularly maintaining a diet. I've seen the other partner, mother, also strictly following the diet. Like, okay, if my partner, if my son is doing it, I'm going to do it with them also. And then that has a positive effect in the house. And it becomes a domino effect. If the
Yeah.
parents are doing it, then the children will invariably do it, or the grandparents do it invariably. So I've seen both the sides of it, but predominantly more the positive sides of it.
When you talk about this, I'll just give a simple example. I had a recent scare where my daughter asked me, "Can I have a sip of your Diet Coke?" And we stopped Diet Coke in the house ever since. Like, don't even want to bring that
Yeah.
situation.
It becomes difficult. It's difficult to say no to your child, parent, as opposed to you, right? So
No, no, like in the sense that firstly, firstly, she's never had any aerated drink in her life. The worst thing to start off would be with a diet drink.
correct.
So want to try and avoid that as far as possible. Anyways, Rahul, we've already gone through 30 minutes of this podcast. So I'm going to get to the more funner parts of the podcast now.
Sure.
I want to know one health trend or Instagram reel that you've come across that's made you roll your eyes.
Ah.
So many just flashed past your eyes,
I
didn't
don't know
they?
which to pick one. Okay, uh, okay, this is very recent, and it's all the talk about gut health and everyone coming and asking me, "Oh, I want to cleanse my gut." I said, "I'm sorry, do you understand what that means?" It's just a very well marketed probiotic which has been like spreading on, oh, let me clean my gut. That is, I feel, is a it's I would say, is a bit of in the lines of, for lack of better word, stupidity, or maybe just an exaggerated hyperbole of it. But gut health is good. You need to eat the right food. If you eat homemade yogurt, or if you have any kind of something that is heavily probiotic, I don't think you need any gut health cleanse or anything for the matter. Just eat the right food. Your gut will take care of itself.
Okay. Now, we were just talking about junk a bit ago. What's your comfort food to go for after surgery?
Oh, okay. So it depends upon the date. Now, if I am very, very, very tired, I would just grab a nice burger. I think that's my go-to.
Fair
But if
enough.
I am feeling, let's say, something that then I cook myself, then I'll cook a pasta. So I love a good pasta.
Oh,
And
nice.
I mean, being Maharashtrian and brought up in Mumbai, I mean, who can say no to vada pav? So
Obviously. Okay. As a bariatric surgeon, one health change you made in your life?
My relationship with my food and the timings. So, I mean, being in the same industry, you would know as well that our hours are erratic, and
Yeah,
eating less but eating at the wrong time doesn't necessarily mean is good. So, as a surgeon, I have now sort of made my meal timings fixed, and I eat at the set hour, and I try and not sort of bring a change in it. So, I think that I sort of corrected, because in the
one last serious question before I get to the rapid fire with you. With this semaglutide, with this tirzepatide, liraglutide, do you think this is going to make a big difference in the weight loss? See, especially patients like when you look at a BMI of 35 with more comorbidities or above 40 BMI, these are patients ideally for bariatric surgery. But now with these injections, do you think that it's going to take a slight shift or anything in that way?
I would feel it will just bring obesity into the conversation quite frequently now, which I've always welcomed. It's a great sort of line treatment in my armamentarium for treating obesity, specifically in the pre-op and post-op from a surgical perspective.
Yeah,
I also feel that it is beneficial in treatment or diagnosing things which have never been, because as I said, obesity has been overtly sensitized. So
yeah,
folks who are struggling to maintain a healthy weight and struggling with maybe 20, 15 kilograms excess body weight, they don't end up coming to the doctor saying that, oh, I'm just 10 or 15 kilograms larger or heavier. So then those folks are coming in now, getting them tested, because every time we sort of prescribe or advise any of these said GLP-1s, you have to sort of go through a list of investigations. So then you sort of are getting diagnosed and getting treated in a proper mannerism. So I feel that is a great sort of uh, change I've seen,
so I
because
think that it's an excellent viewpoint in terms of adjunct therapy to bariatric, and
correct.
maybe for those people who are like 15, 20 kgs who may not fall into that bracket of bariatric surgery, you would be able to help them, advise them better.
Correct.
And so because I myself am on Ribelsis 14 milligrams. So I keep on getting calls from various people about, Rohan, tell us what are the tests. I always tell them very clearly, either go to an endocrinologist or go to a bariatric surgeon slash physician, just
Correct.
because my interaction with Ribelsis has been excellent. I've not faced the side effects which I've seen many people face.
Correct.
I always tell them that, listen, my knowledge is limited to my body. I cannot give you a holistic picture. I always say that visit the bariatric physicians or the surgeons or the endocrinologists, because you'll have so much more knowledge about the nitty gritties, because you'll know what effects and how to mitigate the side effects which do end up coming. So that's one take home message that I want to give. Don't start any of these medications that are available at home. Please meet your doctors. and they will help you out because they're the ones who will give you. And I'm saying this to all the doctors who are listening to this, because don't self medicate, even though we are doctors ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, Rahul. Now, the rapid fire round. I'm going to have you answer really quickly.
Sure.
Six pack abs or 6 hours of sleep?
6 hours
Let
of,
me change the question. 8 hours, 8 pack ab or 8 hours of sleep?
I'm gonna go for 7 hours of sleep, 7.5 hours of sleep. That's what I thought.
Fair enough. Scalpel or stethoscope?
Scouted.
Fair enough. One surgery you'll never forget.
My highest weighing patient, 256 kilograms. Cannot.
Okay. How long was that surgery?
Oh, I went for 4 hours. My instruments broke. So was that bad?
Oh,
Yeah, well,
all right.
you know this, the grasper broke. So yeah,
Oh, wow. Your role model in medicine?
I would say my father.
Fair enough.
It's
If
easiest.
you weren't a bariatric surgeon, what would you be? Matlab, forget bariatric surgeon, not even a doctor.
I've always thought about this, what I would be. I have never come down to a conclusion about it because I've always been fascinated because this has always been at home.
Yeah.
My second close passion is movies, so maybe something to do with movies.
Oh, someone getting into acting?
No, no, behind the camera, not in front of the camera.
Oh,
Behind
directing.
a DOP director. I love movies. I love music. So maybe something that sound.
Oh, fantastic. One gadget you can't live without outside the OT.
Outside the OT, I don't want to say necessarily my phone, but purely from the music perspective, that's about it. I don't care about
Oh,
anything else. Music, yes.
fair enough. Tea, coffee. Sorry, tea, coffee, or green juice.
Black coffee.
Excellent. Dream destination for a break right now.
I don't mind going to my Alibag house, A, or B,
Okay.
if I have to go away. I mean, I just recently came back from Thailand and that was beautiful. So,
Oh, lovely. Biggest compliment you've ever received from a patient.
uh, biggest compliment I would say they call me on the day of the surgery that they happen to get the surgery done, and they celebrate that as a second birthday because that was a new lease to life as they call. So we have a follow up group, and then they always sort of send gifts, and it's just not about the gifts. It's how they sort of have come down to a notion that this is their second birthday. It's great. So I feel
Fair
that's.
enough. And my last question to you, one health mantra you live by?
Hmm. One health. Eat right and sleep well. I mean, this is what I'm trying to do now, and exercise. I mean, there's very basic, very stuff. Just make sure you're
No,
eating right.
but that's what we've always been taught. Basics. We have to go back to the basics.
Like, correct.
Eat, sleep, and exercise.
That's it. That's it. We've
That needs to be all. That needs to be the story for all of us.
correct.
Rahul, this was a fantastic, fun conversation with you. I really enjoyed this entire podcast. Thank you. You've given us such valuable insights into this. And you just not shared your expertise, but you shared it from your heart. And I don't know. I just want to say that it's always fun to have a conversation with you because you're always genuine on in any conversation that you're having. You're never like, and to everyone, I did not give him a single question beforehand, and he did not ask me for a single question. And that's really being sporting of you, Rahul. So thank you so much. You've really been a fantastic, I should say, guest on our podcast on the 118th episode. And thank you for taking out time.
Thanks for having me, Rohan. It's always a pleasure to be associated with you or interacting with you in any lens, be it at work or be it outside the hospital. This was quite fun from my perspective as well, and looking forward to do many things, nice things with you in the future.
Thank you so much, Rahul. So,
Thanks.
to all our listeners, thanks for tuning into the Gyan Pravah. We hope today's episode's given you not just knowledge, but also the motivation to think differently about health and wellness. A big thank you to Dr. Sunita Tandulwadkar, our Fogsi president, for creating this platform where vibrant voices, cutting edge ideas, and real stories come together to inspire all our gynecologists across the country. I also have to thank the Evangel team for making this podcast series so seamless and special. And until next time, stay curious, stay healthy, and remember every step you take towards a better health is a victory worth celebrating. Please tune in again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for episode 119 of the Gyan Pravah. Good night, everybody. Have a lovely evening.